Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to your Daily Bread. And today we are in Manchester at the Trafford Centre. It's an amazing and huge shopping mall. So today we are going shopping. Join me, it's gonna be fun. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Daily Bread. I am Isabel. Thank you so much for joining me. And today we are still talking about dream interpretation, and we are particularly focusing on nightmares. So if you recall, last time we talked about how a nightmare was just a position of vulnerability that you find yourself into, not necessarily the situation. So if you increase your level of authority, and then whatever we consider a nightmare will no longer be a nightmare because we feel helpless normally in nightmares. So today we're going to be talking about certain types of nightmares and their origin, and really how to understand them and how to analyze them as well. So before I start, I just wanted to give a little bit of a disclaimer that, these topics that I talk about are topics that I've particularly or directly experienced myself, or I have actually secondhand experience through people that I have seen go through as well. So that's what I'm sharing with you here. So it's not something that's pulled out of the thin air. Okay? So, what are the sources of nightmares? First of all, we need to be clear that not all dreams or nightmares have a spiritual connection or a spiritual attachment, okay? The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 3 says that a dream can come from much activity. So which means, depending on what you've been doing throughout the day, what you have been thinking during the day, or the type of movies maybe you might have watched, all those situations in our daily lives can trigger dreams or nightmares. So there could also be if you've witnessed something that gave you a shock or trauma, or certain things like loss, or even substance abuse can also trigger a nightmare. So there is no spiritual attachment in those type of dreams. It's just like what we could call brain activity, and that's what the Bible says. But secondly, there is the brain activity, but there's also nightmares are also caused through a direct attack by the enemy. Okay? So you could be watching me and thinking, why would the enemy want to attack me? The enemy would attack anyone here on earth. As long as you are a human being, the enemy will attack you. Because the Bible says he only comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And this is his job description. And he will carry on doing that job until Christ comes back again and binds him forever. But as long as he's here, that's what he does. So you and I, we need to be aware of that. That's what he comes to do. As I say, kill, steal, and destroy. So we need to take measures in order to protect ourselves and to be able to understand, all his maneuvers, and be able to come out as victorious and overcomers. Okay? So when you look at nightmares, or any kind of dream for that matter of fact, the Bible is our point of reference, all right? The Bible won't tell you about the particular details of your life, but the Bible will point you to understanding and finding solutions. What am I saying here? Let's look at the cases of attacks or nightmares from wild animals, or being attacked by animals. And by that I mean any animal. I mean, just like when you have a dream where there is an animal attacking you or harming you, all right? The Bible, for instance, talks about many animals, and like for instance, the Bible talks about snakes. And when we look at the Bible refers to the snake. Many times the snake is referred to as the devil, or the devil referred to as a snake, and that's starting from the Garden of Eden, when the snake came and he duped Adam and Eve. And so that was a particular attack that came in the life of Adam and Eve through the snake, which was through a lie and deceit, and robbed them out of their destiny. So any kind of nightmares with animals, and I'm talking about, as I say, snakes or scorpions or bees or tigers. Some of them are mentioned in the Bible, some of them are not mentioned in the Bible. But the Bible says in the book of Luke 10:19 that, Jesus said, I've given you the authority to trample over the serpent, the scorpion, and all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm you. So when you see attacked by, bears or tigers or dogs or cats, all of those attacks, normally they are generated by the enemy, but Jesus has given us the authority over them, all right? Because what is important as well to understand, as I'm speaking to you here, is that all animals are created by God. So when you have a dream or a nightmare, so it's not the presence of the animal that is negative per se, but it is what an animal is trying to do and what they're trying to do makes you feel. So if they're trying to do something negative to you and it makes you feel bad, then that's the attack from the enemy. Because, for instance, in the Bible, Jesus is referred to as the Lion of the tribe of Judah, but the devil is also referred to as like a lion walking about, seeking whom to devour. So discernment is very, very important in this situation and in this instance as well. So what do those dreams particularly mean? So, because one thing we agree here is that, dreams about those dreams about attacks that come from the enemy, but the meaning of them would be different according to different individuals, because we all have different destiny and we all have different area that the enemy would like to attack, if that makes sense. So in the case of Adam and Eve, for instance, when the serpent came, it was to rob them of their destiny and take away the blessing that God had given to them. So that is why it's important. So that's what's important when you have a nightmare. So to understand, okay, it's an attack from the enemy, but it's important to understand, okay, what is the source of it, or the origin of it, and what is the area that is targeted. So I'm gonna give you like an example, for instance, to understand dreams, because when you have those nightmares, if you recall in my first video, I say it's very important when you have nightmares or dreams to be particularly observant about, okay, pay attention, where are you? Are you in your workplace? Are you at home? Because that will show you, for instance, what area might be targeted or what the source of your issue is. Are you in a foreign country? Are you, in a house, but are you in a particular room in a house? Are you in a building? Are you in a work building? Are you, it's just like, looking at, okay, are you at the beach? Are you in the forest? So it's very important. Where's the forest? So it's very important to understand, first of all, pay attention to your surroundings, and also look who is there. Because the majority of times when you have nightmares, even when you have those attacks by animals, sometimes there aren't, but sometimes there will be a figure. Is there a person that you could perceive? They could just be passing by, or there could be someone who just shows up. Who is this person? Is it a relative? Is it a work colleague? Is it a friend? Because that will also point you towards either the source of the issue or the area that is targeted. So I'm going to finish now and give you an example of a nightmare or of a dream that will show us the source of the issue and the indicator, so we learn how to analyze our dreams or nightmares, okay? So there is this particular dream that a person had that I know. This person had a dream that there was this massive, huge bird, okay? It could have been a vulture or it was a bird, but that bird was eating that person's hands. So the person's hands were being eaten by the bird totally and entirely. And clearly, that's a really bad dream. You would agree, right? It's a nightmare. So that bird was eating that person's hands and moving on to eating the person's body. But within that scenario of the bird eating that person's hand, the person saw another person there. So there was a second person there, and that person was somebody that they knew. Okay, so it was a friend. So when the person woke up, we looked at the dream, we analyzed it. So we saw that the origin of the issue was through that friendship or that relationship, and that was causing the attack to target this person's hands, which represent the ability to earn a living, to make wealth, because that's what you do with your hands. You work, and if you don't have hands, you cannot work. If you cannot work, you cannot earn a living. So, and what we did was we got that person cut off that relationship with that person, and once that relationship was cut off, and then there was a release and there was a breakthrough, and that person was able to become financially independent, which that person was not able to accomplish before, as long as they were in that relationship. Because whilst they were in that relationship, they were never able to secure a job or be able to earn a living. But once they broke off that relationship, then they were able to have a breakthrough. So that shows to us, within that scenario, which is a dream, a nightmare, which is horrible, but it shows to us the source, the origin of the issue, and the area that was targeted. So we identified the origin, we broke off all links to the origin, and then the area that was targeted was liberated and free, and that person saw a breakthrough. I hope this was useful, okay? So I will stop here for today, but I will come back again and we'll look at other different types of nightmares as well, and how to understand them and how to interpret them. So God bless you, and from Travel Center, see you soon. Bye-bye.